Tonight, the lingering effects of coronavirus set to impact a local Anzac Day service, and Broken Hill Cinema facing an uncertain future.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Port Lincoln's RSL is encouraging the public to stay at home this Anzac Day. They're finalising preparations ahead of next month's dawn service, which will be broadcast from the city's memorial.
For a second year in a row, Anzac Day commemorations will look a little bit different, but the message is never lost.
To remember those who did give their lives and over many wars.
Veterans and the public are being asked to stay at home again this year, while major services go ahead. Organisers say it was hard to predict with months of planning, but were ultimately left with no choice.
It's a matter of keeping them safe, and they are a vulnerable group. They're in that age group.
Port Lincoln's local radio station will be broadcasting the service. Residents encouraged to listen from home and pay their respect in their driveway.
Come to the end of their driveways, which they did last year, which I thought was a brilliant testimony. It was a great way to do it.
This year commemorates the Navy's 110th anniversary of being established in Australia.
We've also got the 80th anniversary of the sinking of the Sydney 2. It was the biggest tragedy for the Australian Navy in Navy history, and they lost over 600 men in one battle.
Port Lincoln City Band will be performing at the service, the last post set to echo across the city.
And it just goes to show how much people do support their ancestors and their military history.
And really in this community of the Eyre Peninsula, there are so many who have families who had those that served. It's so great to be able to remember and work with that.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whyall's mayor is reassuring locals that it's business as usual at the city's local steelworks. Council says it's had recent discussions with GFG Alliance after the announcement Greensill, one of GFG's biggest finances, is facing a restructure.
We're extremely supportive of GFG's operations here in Whyalla, and as we've been told, it's business as usual. They're churning a profit, it's very busy there, and so we feel that it's a confident future.
The Mayor also says GFG has assured Council there will be no disruptions to daily operations. Member for Frome Jeff Brock is calling on the community to give feedback on a new voluntary euthanasia bill. Kaya Ma's proposal, which mirrors Victoria's voluntary dying laws, has been tabled in Parliament.
It's a very emotional issue. Everyone's got different views about it, but certainly I will, even though it's a conscious vote, I'll be asking my community and to bring the feedback into me and tell me what they consider to be their views on this particular very, very important issue.
He's encouraging residents to reach out to his office to have their say. 8 roads across Port Augusta will receive a facelift, with local contractors commencing resealing projects yesterday. Local council says the works are important to help maintain the city's local infrastructure.
A pathway to better infrastructure. Works are well underway across a number of Port Augusta roads as contractors help upgrade the local network.
We've got 8 roads in total this year, and as part of an ongoing rolling program of work that we do every year to ensure that our roads are maintained to the standards expected of them.
Part of City Council's Transport Asset Management Plan, these residential roads are receiving a facelift, with spray and asphalt sealing being put down.
To make sure that our assets are maintained properly and our road systems are responding to the wear and tear that happens as a result of people just using them.
The project taking months of planning and preparation.
In the preparation side of it, we come through and do all the patching on the bitumen, repair any bits of curbs, trim the trees and that so the machines can get under them.
The total cost of the works comes to around $434,000, which council says is an investment in the city, with residents set to benefit from better and safer roads.
I'd just like to thank people for the cooperation. We're certainly getting a lot of plaudits from people about the work we're doing, and certainly we look forward to continuing this program into the future.
The upgrades are expected to be completed in a week's time. Katrina Musson at 7 Spencer Golf News.
Operators of Broken Hill's only cinema have told 7 Spencer Golf News they will soon have to decide whether it's feasible to keep their doors open. independent cinemas pleading for increased support, with overseas film production still heavily reduced.
The lights are on, but nobody's home. The Silver City Cinema kept in the dark with an uncertain future ahead.
I'm going to see what the next 6 months bring. If not, then serious questions will be talked about as a family meeting, or whether we stay open or not.
Manager Ashton Wren saying COVID restrictions aren't to blame for a lack of customers, with cinemas in New South Wales returning to full capacity. A lack of films creating the problem, with overseas productions still affected by the pandemic.
There's lots and lots of titles that are sitting in vaults in Hollywood, so to speak, that are waiting for the time to be right to release them.
Family discounts and canteen deals still not enough to attract customers. Owners hoping Dine and Discover vouchers will help fill seats as Independent Cinemas Australia rallies the federal government for assistance.
We need support at least until Christmas. Then we're going to be in a situation where we can start to come back alive again.
There are signs blockbusters are slowly returning.
I know we haven't got the right products yet for you to come back to the cinema, but trust me, end of March we got Peter Rabbit 2, we got the Tom and Jerry movie.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a Port Lincoln hotel receives state government funding for an upgrade, and Hawker residents pumping iron at their brand new gym. Welcome back. The Far West Local Health District says consolidating COVID testing to the Community Health Centre has been successful. 48 people tested there since the relocation on Monday, including 5 walk-ins, despite overall numbers remaining low.
We are now beginning to see people with cold symptoms coming in for testing, which is really encouraging.
The CEO also confirming details for the local vaccine rollout have almost been finalised. Tens of thousands of dollars has been injected into some of the region's biggest tourism drawcards. The state government cash splash has been touted as a major boost for operators bouncing back from the pandemic.
From towering sand dunes to the breathtaking coastline, it's easy to see why the West Coast is renowned across Australia.
Over the Christmas, New Year, January school holidays, we were quite busy, so that was fantastic.
And now it's ready for a shot in the arm.
We were really stoked when we got the amount.
More than $250,000 being injected into tourism businesses across the Eyre Peninsula as part of the latest round of state government funding.
There's some real opportunities, I think, as a result of this, and we're really keen to take advantage of those opportunities.
Projects include 2 new bedroom cabins at Fowler's Bay, a new tour vehicle for wildlife adventures, and the refurbishment of 11 apartments at Port Lincoln's Marina Hotel.
The cabins are actually arriving on the 22nd of March. So as soon as the power and water is connected, we'll be up and running. I've already taken my first few bookings.
It's hoped the money will help businesses bounce back from COVID and entice more people to head to the region and venture off the beaten track.
We're actually starting to grow, and as much as COVID has slapped us, I've actually taken on 2 new staff.
$20 million has been invested in more than 30 projects across South Australia as part of the Tourism Development Fund. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A new gym facility in Hawker is already a popular spot to be for residents and visitors. Featuring new equipment, toilets and an aerobics room, the Flinders Ranges Council Mayor says it's a great asset for the town.
It's Hawker's newest asset, getting locals pumped about hitting the gym.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love coming down here and doing a workout.
Finally open after 3 years of planning, lobbying for state and federal funding, community consultation and construction. This $400,000 facility features a community aerobics room, new toilets and a fully equipped gym with 24/7 day-a-week access.
We've got all the machines for doing all parts of your body. We've also got a lot of free weights, we've got cardio sections, we've got the aerobics room next door that you can go in there and do cardio sessions on as well.
Catering for the whole community, remote workers, young people and the aged. The Flinders Ranges Mayor says it's all part of drawing people to the town and having something to offer.
Nurses, we have a school teachers, policemen, they have to have entertainment, and a facility like this does take care of some of that.
Council also offering local accommodation providers the option to allow their guests access.
So they have a fob which their guests can use. They can come up here and use the gym, and it's just an attraction for getting more tourists up here.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Perry's Red Cross has started a new initiative to give free sanitary items to women in need. Collection bins will be placed across the community, and staff are encouraging residents to donate goods.
Breaking down the stigma, staff claim these sanitary necessities should be easily accessible to all women.
Periods happen to women of all ages, and I think it's just something that we need to live with. So if we can make that a little bit easier for a few women, then why not?
Port Perry's Red Cross were looking for a way to help regional women, with this project eventually coming to fruition.
We have a student trainee working for Red Cross at the moment, so we thought it'd be a great opportunity for her to get involved in giving something back to the community.
Sanitary items are a timely topic across the globe, with South Australia's Isabel Marshall recently winning acclaim for her foundation's efforts.
In Scotland, sanitary items are now free for community, and then with the Young Australian of the Year, Isabel, her story around Share the Dignity.
Now Port Perry's Red Cross is following suit and creating these packages to give out free pads and tampons.
Any woman that basically gets caught short, whether you're in financial trouble or you're out somewhere. So we'll have drop-off points that people can go.
Staff are calling on businesses to consider hosting sanitary collection bins.
And then we can come and collect them, but we're also looking for any community members that would like to make donations of sanitary items. They can be dropped off at the Red Cross office.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us, the Unearth Festival begins to take shape in Ada Rain Gardens, and junior footy returns to Broken Hill for the first time in 18 months. Locals have flocked to Broken Hill's Kmart as its doors opened for the first time this morning. It's the 303rd Target store to be converted, with Kmart saying locals were very vocal in wanting the change. 23 full-time employees were retained from Target, with 50 new staff hired. It's also hoped the new store will keep money in town, rather than going to Mildura. The opening night for this year's Unearth Festival in Whyalla is just 2 weeks away. Event organisers spent the morning at Ada Rain Gardens, marking out the different locations for the variety of stalls set to be on offer.
Walking through this park, set to become a magical venue for locals.
We're really looking forward to the Unearth Festival's opening night on March the 19th. Starts at 5 o'clock with entertainment throughout the night.
DJ Caravan Sounds providing the entertainment for the night, with crowds able to sing along and dance.
As long as people are being safe and being aware of the COVID restrictions, absolutely.
And that's not the only thing installed, with event organisers bringing a taste of fringe to the region.
We have 40 stalls throughout the gardens. There'll be food, there'll be candles, there'll be tarot readings.
Council staff starting the setup early, spending the morning mapping out the area.
Today we're super excited to come out and mark and visualise it for ourselves, all the 40 odd stalls, which is super exciting.
This year's event attracting multiple stallholders, with council soon to announce the successful applicants.
Letting the stallholders know by Friday who's successful and where they're going to be.
The opening night kick-starting the program, which will be spread out across the city this year. 4 bands are set to play at Rupina, Helpless will perform at the Middleback, and the popular act Leather Lungs will hit Whyalla as well. More information can be found online, with locals needing to purchase tickets for the opening night event. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Hundreds of future footy stars are once again able to refine their skills, with Auskick returning to Broken Hill last night. Interest in the sport is booming, after all local footy was cancelled due to the pandemic last year.
Our national game making a big return to Broken Hill. Auskick kicking off after a year on the bench.
We couldn't play because of COVID.
270 children taking part in the season launch last night. getting a chance to test their skills.
Where you either get into them whole things.
Why do you like footy?
Because Darry Ablett played for it.
AFL representatives visiting 7 primary schools in town saying there's a clear thirst for footy's return.
Managed to get in front of about 1,700 kids and channelled most of them down here this afternoon. So yeah, we've launched the season for the Auskick season and we're away.
All 4 local clubs in attendance to sign new players. North Football Club alone signing over 100 new members.
The mental and the physical benefits that kids and families get out of organised sport is so important to the community.
Our local clubs also playing their part in the session, inspiring the next generation of A-grade players.
It just shows the kids that there's a pathway from Auskick, the women's football, the diversity programs out here, and yeah, it's a good complement, works well.
Auskick and junior competitions begin in late April. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's only 23 days until Port Pirie's annual Relay for Life fundraiser, and organisers are working around the clock with final preparations. Kicking off mid-afternoon on March the 27th, the event will be raising funds for those battling cancer. Over 60 participants have registered for the relay, and residents are being encouraged to come along and support them. More information can be found online. Stay with us after the break. We check what's biting in the Spencer Gulf, and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. With the long weekend almost upon us, it's time to see what's biting in the Spencer Gulf. Here's our fishing experts with their tips.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fishing Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, we're into autumn now, not that we had a really hot summer. You can still get some nice feeds of crabs. They're actually pretty full of meat at the moment too. There are some black whiting starting to show up down around the bottom of Yatala Harbour, and if you bet they're down that far, you'll actually get them into the Flinders Channel as well. There's some nice garfish too. If you get a nice calm night, go out there dabbing for those. And you will get the odd flounder and flathead in the shallows there too. So there are some bigger flathead to be found out in the middle banks. Some people are getting after razor fishing. The razorfish ban's off now, so you can go out and have a crack at those. And that's all we have from the Jewel North.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips from Port Pirie. Blue swimmer crabs, I tell you what, are they sort of going off at the moment. I'm really appreciative. You notice that we made the news in a positive realm this week when our own Shari posted a picture of David Wilkes feeding a dolphin with fish in his mouth. So it's just fantastic to see something positive about the water in Port Pirie. Start at Port Davis, look at the oval out there. A little bit further straight out, you'll find some King George whiting starting to happen. Don't forget the Eastern Shoal, Checker Buoy area is a good start for the early whiting, so have a think about that. That's all we've got this week. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Whalers Fishing Tips this week. The weather should be starting to cool down a little over the next month or so that means the water temperature should be dropping as well, which means some nice King George whiting are starting to move into the region. Definitely worthwhile having a look around those out front of Mount Young. Best bait to use is squid because there's still a lot of pest fish around as well. There should be a few squid working in that area as well. Blue swimmer crabs are running absolutely everywhere. Bag limits hit in no time at all. Definitely crabs off the local jetty along with some tommies and garfish on the cooler weather too.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Locally here in the bay in Port Lincoln there's been some blue crabs around, so down in the proper and also along the town foreshore. Best reports of whiting we've had have been down from Thistle. There have been a few patchy reports from around Taylor's Landing, but those fish have been pretty hit and miss. There's also been a few nice garfish around in our local bays and also off the rocks around in the Port Lincoln National Park. Up at Tumby Bay, the group is fishing very well for whiting at the moment, along with some good-sized garfish and also some silver trevally.
And with a look ahead to the all-important long weekend weather forecast for our region, here's Alex Sykes with the details.
Thanks, John. Yes, we are set for a mainly fine weekend. I'll have more detail on that later. First up, a look at today's temperatures. From 3 p.m, it was sunny across our region. Port Augusta reached 30 degrees. Port Lincoln got to a high of 21. Kadina was 23. Whale it got to a high of 25. Broken Hill was 26. Port Pirie and Woodner both 30 degrees. Cleve 23. Clare sunny and 28. Cooper Pedy 33 and Adelaide reached 22 degrees. To the a satellite image now. Patchy cloud over western parts of SA with a weakening trough is not producing any rain. Low cloud in the far southeast in onshore winds is barely causing any showers. Mostly clear and dry in the northeast with a strengthening ridge. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas around 1 to 2 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Port Lincoln partly cloudy 23 degrees, Cleve mostly sunny, a top of 25 there. Similar conditions in Woodna 33, Whyalla and Kadina both sunny and set to reach 28 degrees, Port Augusta to top at 32. Port Pirie 31, Clare 28 and sunny in Broken Hill to top 30 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, and cloudy across the Gulf but sunny in Broken Hill on Saturday. Cooper Pedy to reach 35 degrees, Port Augusta a degree cooler 34 degrees, a top of 29 in both Kadina and Whyalla, 24 in Port Lincoln. Partly cloudy conditions on Sunday. Port Augusta and Woodna both set to reach 34, Broken Hill and Port Pirie to top 32, 36 in Cooper Pedy, 28 if you're heading to Adelaide. And those mainly fine conditions continuing into the beginning of next week, 30 at both Broken Hill and Port Augusta, Whyalla and Adelaide to reach 26 degrees, Kadina a top of 27 and 23 in Port Lincoln. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, John.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and the team will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.